sat with his wives and went and sat on his own. No one, it's impossible. It's not, you can't figure it out. So don't postpone it too much in life because there's no point. Don't do it too early when you're completely not prepared. But get married as the Prophet ﷺ taught us, and then learn to manage this relationship because it's a learning curve that, it's always going to be a learning curve. So what he said, alayhi salatu, and I love this hadith because it symbolizes something really important. قال عليه الصلاة والسلام إذا دخلت ليلا فلا تدخل على أهلك حتى تستحد المغيبة وتمتشط الشعثة. So he said, if you enter the city at night, he is speaking, alayhi salatu, here to someone who's traveling, to a man who's traveling. This is before cell phones, right? And before there was any form of communication. So this is why it's important to understand this hadith in the context. See, this is why context matters in a hadith. You have to understand what he's trying to teach. If you don't understand the context, then this hadith becomes very awkward, and it doesn't make. And if you just follow it literally, then that means every time you come into the city from outside, you have to go sleep in a hotel first night and then come here. And that's not what he's teaching. He has a certain. If you come to the city at night, then don't enter your house until تستحد المغيبة وتمتشط الشعثة. I'm not going to explain that because it's not appropriate for me to go into the details what it means. What it means in general, until your wife can take time to prepare herself for her husband, because she cares because your wife cares about how she presents herself to you as her husband. And she cares about how she looks and how she is. If you've been away for a couple of months and she's taking care of the kids and it's chaos in the house, she's running both her job and yours. If you come in and just knock on the door and walk in the middle of the night, well, she's not prepared for you. She doesn't have enough time. She's not ready. Yes, you want to go and have a shower and be in your home, but the Prophet ﷺ actually tells you, stay out. Send in that I'm here. I've arrived in the city. I'm going to wait. And then you wait outside, maybe for the couple of hours, maybe for the full night. He did this. Not only did he teach this, ﷺ, he did it. He actually stopped the full army and kept them outside of Medina for a full night. Why? So that the wives can take care of themselves, because it matters within this marriage, the relationship, how she presents herself to you. Just like it matters to you how you're presented in front of her. Marriage is not about breaking all boundaries between two people. That's not what marriage is about. Marriage is not removing every boundary to the point where there's no personal existence for the other person. That's not what it's about. The Prophet ﷺ still cared about how a wife is going to present herself to her husband, and how a husband is presenting himself to his wife, to the point where he would tell you, if you come at night, don't enter immediately. Let them know and wait. Give her time. Give her some time. She didn't know you were coming, and it's not fair to her. This may not be her best hour. She has the right to have that time, just like you do. Just like a man does not like, see, this is for the ladies. See, men don't like to be seen as weak in front of their wives. They don't like to be seen as weak. Don't try to force him to show you his weakness. Don't force that, because it's not helpful for him. He needs to be in front of you. He has to be the man, the protector, the provider, the guy who has it all under control. When he needs to be weak, he'll make it clear. When he doesn't need to be weak and doesn't want to be seen as weak, don't try to force his hand to be seen as weak. Just like you don't want to be presented in front of your husband in a certain way, he doesn't want to be presented in front of you in a certain way as well. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that in a marriage. There's nothing wrong with actually making sure we go out of our way to allow the other person to present themselves in the way they want to present themselves. We go out of our way, make sure. If he doesn't like to be seen as weak, then you go out of your way as a wife to make sure that you don't let him know that you saw him weak. Or if you saw him at one point weak, when he broke down when his dad passed away, or he broke down when the business went underwater, and he broke down for a moment, don't remind him of that. And don't remind him that you saw that, because that takes away his masculinity. He's not as good as of a provider or a protector anymore. And for you as a husband, if you don't go out of your way to make sure she has room, so that she can present herself in the way she wants to present herself to you, then you are actually taking away from her femininity as well, and we're ruining the relationship. He cared enough, alayhi salatu, about this, to tell someone who has been traveling for months, for weeks and months in the middle of the desert, that if you come at night, don't go until you give her time. Because he cared about this relationship, alayhi salatu wasalam. It's amazing. Wallahi, it's amazing. I wouldn't have thought of this at all. I almost feel like, what do you mean? I've been on the road for a month. I'm starving. I am thirsty. I am tired. I don't care what she looks like, but she does. I don't care. I'm happy with, I know you are, but she does. It's about her perception of herself in front of you. That matters, just like your perception of yourself in front of her matters. Subhanallah, al-adab al-nabawi. The etiquette of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Haja azima. Something beautiful. That it's not about, I know you don't care. I know you're tired, you just want to have a shower. But she cares. And we care about that. We care about that. We care about how she perceives herself in front of you. and how you should perceive yourself in front of her. That's important. Sallallahu ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So learn, this is the adab that he taught us عليه الصلاة والسلام. يروي الشيخان فيما اتفقا عليه من حديث جابر بن عبد الله رضي الله عنهما قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم إذا دخلت ليلا فلا تدخل على أهلك حتى تستحد المغيبة وتمتشط الشاعثة. صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. بحمد الله وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. جزاكم الله خير وبارك الله فيكم.